So it seems to me that the vetting procedure in terms of who you choose as a partner, and obviously it's got to work both ways, is quite a key part. I noticed, looking at some of the documentation earlier, that you've got quite a strict, almost like an IFA would do, to make sure that the investment is right. I mean, do you want to just talk through that, how you actually vet your partners? What sort of things are you looking for a good joint venture partner?
Yeah. Someone I like, someone I trust.
Right.
Someone who's honest.
Sure.
And they need to be able to raise finance. They need to be able to pass decisions in principle from mortgage lenders and commercial finance providers. In order to do that, they will have to disclose to the lender their personal details and their finances. So they're going to be prepared to do that. They're going to need to do that because any bank would need that anyway. Sure. They don't have to disclose it to me particularly, but they will need to disclose it.
Yes.
They need people who are reasonably decisive.
Right.
That if I recommend, I think we should do this, that they say yes or no rather than dither for a while, because then you've lost it.
Sure.
And you have to act quite fast.
Yes.
And I'll be recommending what I think is a good investment for me. So hopefully, normally people agree, and as long as they've got that sort of capital available at the time, then we go ahead and do the joint venture, do that property purchase.
Fantastic. And just to understand, Andrew, if you mentioned it earlier, if push really came to shove and something happened, and clearly we need people perhaps who haven't put their sort of last dime into it because they need an emergency fund. But if push came really to shove and something happened that they needed to get the money, is it both parties to agree to sell the property, or is it one or the other?
The way we structured it, to be fair to both people, is that you need to be able to get out.
Because either party?
Yeah, because my situation might change, theirs might change.
Sure.
So there's got to be an exit. And so if either one wants to sell, then it has to be sold.
Right.
Obviously, their half is offered to the other party first.
Right. Okay.
At whatever the market value is.
Yes.
But I would have thought more likely that we'd just sell.
Right.
They would get their loan back.
Yes.
Whatever capital they've put into it, got left in.
Yes.
And then we'd split any profits or losses if the worst happened.
Right.
50-50.
Right. Excellent. And what sort of? I mean, do you have some sort of legal structure? Is it a partnership or a limited liability partnership or a limited company? I mean, what's the legal entity you operate under?
Well, we've obviously thought about limited companies a lot, and that would be the ideal. But in terms of actually raising finance, it's much easier to be individuals.
Right. Okay.
And the rates are a lot better.
Yes.
You can get a higher level of borrowing.
Right.
And it's just much easier rather than being a limited company.
So it is a partnership as opposed to a limited company?
Yeah, it's a joint venture partnership.
Sure, sure.
Well, even if it's a limited company, even if you borrowed a limited company's name, they would want all the details.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking as much borrowing as much as a limited company's name. I'm thinking about the actual structure ongoing in terms of how you operate, i.e. You might operate as a limited liability partnership for tax purposes once you've got the property. I don't know, but is that something that you looked at?
We've done it so far on just a joint venture partnership.
Okay.
Obviously, at the end of the tax year, our accountant produces the accounts.
Yes.
And all the profits and losses and things are split into two columns.
Right.
My 50% share, their 50% share.
Sure.
And then I can use those figures to go together with the rest of my affairs.
Yes.
And my partner can then use those figures to go to treat however they want to amongst all their other possibly complex affairs.
Okay.